Hello again, everyone. Okay, so what have we been talking about today? Can you remember what did we just talk about? We spoke about frequency. Okay, so you can see here on the screen we spoke about frequency. What is frequency in Korean? Frequency is bindo. So basically when we ask someone how often do you do something, then we're speaking about frequency. Okay, so how often do you, what's happening in this picture, how often do you play games? So how often does he play games? This guy plays games twice a week. So if I ask you or ask him how often do you play games, the answer would be I play games twice a week. Okay, now you have to help me answer this. Okay, how often do you play, what's the sport? Basketball. How often do you play basketball? Okay, repeat after me. How often do you play basketball? How often do you play basketball? Okay, next one. What's this? Basketball. No, I'm joking. How often do you play basketball? No. How often do you play baseball? How often do you play baseball? Okay, next one. How often do you play games? How often do you play games? Okay. How often do you play games? Okay, this one. I love this game. How often do you play chess? How often do you play chess? Okay, one more time. How often do you play chess? Okay, next one. How often do you play? There's a C in it. C. How often do you play cricket? How often do you play cricket? One more time. How often do you play cricket? So cricket is an international game. It's a game where there's a World Cup. So there's a World Cup soccer, there's a World Cup cricket, there's a World Cup rugby. But there's no World Cup baseball. There's no World Cup American football. There's no World Cup basketball. So those are not international games. Soccer, cricket, rugby are international games. International sports. So basically cricket is one of the biggest sports in the world, actually. Okay, so enough about cricket, let's go on. Okay, what's this guy doing? How often do you play swim? Beep. No, not play swim. How often do you swim? Okay, how often do you swim? One more time. How often do you swim? Okay, next one. How often do you ride your bike? How often do you ride your bike? How often do you ride your bicycle? How often do you ride a bike? How often do you ride a bicycle? It's all good. Okay. How often do you, what's happening here? How often do you read a book? How often do you read a book? How often do you read a book? Okay, next one. How often do you eat pali umshik? How often do you eat fast food? How often do you eat fast food? Okay, in American English, how often do you eat fast food? How often do you eat fast food? Or you could say, how often do you eat junk food? How often do you eat junk food? How often do you eat fast food? That's the easy one. How often do you eat fast food? Can you say, how often do you eat fast food? Okay. Next one. What is he doing? What's happening here? How often do you pick up something? No. How often do you exercise? How often do you exercise? Okay, so next we get to answer the questions. So far we have been asking the questions. Now we're going to look at the other side, answering the questions. So if we have an A and a B, we already spoke about A, but now we're going to speak about B. Okay, so we spoke about A. How often do you play games? We already did that. But now we're going to speak about B. Okay, how often do you play games? I play games twice a week. I play games twice a week. 2 times in a week, so twice a week. Okay, how often, what's this game again? It's an international game, so remember. Okay, how often do you play cricket? How often do you play cricket? I play cricket. Yeah, I play cricket once a week. I play cricket once a week. I play cricket once a week. Okay, what's happening here again? How often do you exercise? How often do you exercise? I exercise twice a week. I exercise twice a week. Okay, next one. How often do you swim? I play swim. No, I swim 3 times. I swim 3 times. So remember to say 3 times. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 10 times, 200 times, 1,000 times. Okay, so I swim 3 times a week. One more time. I swim 3 times a week. I swim 3 times a week. Okay, next one is an American sport that's very loved here in Korea is, how often do you play baseball? Okay, I play baseball. I play baseball once a week. I play baseball once a week. Yeah, once a week, but what about the other weeks? So I play baseball once a month. Once a month. I play baseball once a month. Okay, one more time. I play baseball once a month. Okay, next one. How often do you play games? I play games twice a month. I play games twice a month. Okay, next one. How often do you read a book? How often do you read a book? This might be a tricky one. How often do I read, how often do you read a book? I read a book. I read a book. I read a book. Today, tomorrow, the next day, blah 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 blah. I read a book every day. I read a book every day. I read a book every day. Okay, so that's all for today then. Thanks for watching, guys. Good job. Very good job. Nicely done. And see you guys next time. Goodbye.